We had that tropical style heat and humidity out there today, and that sparked some tropical downpours. We're going to time this all out again for tomorrow. A weather impact alert continues. We'll explain coming up.
And people across the state picking up the pieces after a powerful round of storms. We'll have a live report in Simsbury assessing the damage. State officials warning all of us about Triple E tonight, the virus popping up in mosquitoes all across the state. Why you need to take the warning seriously and what you can do to protect yourself and your family.
And what do potatoes and corn have in common? Well, apparently a whole lot in North Branford. It's their biggest festival of the year. Are you team potato or team corn? We'll let you decide when we take you to the fairgrounds coming up.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
Scenes of destruction across the northern part of Hartford County tonight. Communities cleaning up after a fierce storm swept through this afternoon. And tonight we're getting our first look at the extent of the damage. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10 tonight. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Another day feeling like we're in the tropics. It didn't really surprise us then to see the thunder, lightning, rain, and some wind.
Yeah, Simsbury was one of the towns most impacted, and all night we've been hearing reports of trees down on homes and even instances of small planes getting swept away in the chaos.
Connecticut's news station has full team coverage for you tonight. Fox 61's Alexa Farrell's in Simsbury. She spent the evening talking with people just starting to clean up.
And she'll show us the worst of the damage in just a moment. But first, we are sending things over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. So, Rach, do we have any of the lingering storms tonight?
We just have a few rumbles of thunder that are out there, but certainly nothing like we saw earlier. We've got some heavier downpours in northwestern Connecticut and some lighter showers for the rest of the state. But let's get a closer look where it's raining a bit heavier in Norfolk and right now in Heartland. As we take a closer look at Hartford, we're dealing with some lighter, steadier rain. That's true down through Colchester and Montville, and a little downpour here around Ledyard. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a rumble of thunder there either. But this is the last batch to come through as we head through the next, let's say, hour or so. And after that, we'll dry out before we do it all over again tomorrow. So that's why we continue this weather impact alert from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, because of the heat and humidity combination. Just like today, we'll have a feels like temperature between 95 to near triple digits. And we want to issue these impact alerts when it impacts your day at all. So I know that some of you will be seeking cool places to hang out tomorrow, whether that's by the beach, by the pool, by the AC, you do you. There is also a chance for a scattered shower or thunderstorm. However, I do think we make it through most of the day dry. So what you're looking at here are rain chances, and then our chances of seeing a shower or thunderstorm will increase later in the day or at night. So I do think that there will be a few, but we make it through most of the day dry before those storms arrive. Right now, temperatures are in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. Tonight, lows in the 70s and highs tomorrow up around 90 degrees. We'll talk about more numerous showers and storms for Sunday coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Our news teams are out there tonight surveying the damage from today's storm. Some of the hardest hit areas are still cleaning up as we speak.
One of those spots is in Simsbury, and that's where we find Fox 61's Alexa Farrell joining us live tonight with a look at the aftermath. Alexa.
Brent and Sarah, the damage has been incredible here in Simsbury that we've seen. And this is damage that people we've spoken with say they've never seen anything like this before, and they definitely didn't expect to see it here in Connecticut. Trees falling on homes, planes without an engine flying through the sky. That's just some of what Simsbury saw during the wind and rainstorms Friday afternoon.
Wildest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Michael Held said he saw rain and wind hit the town hard.
Things were flying around everywhere. Tree went and hit my wife's car. Tree went through someone's house down the road.
Trees were completely uprooted. Some were tossed along power lines. And cleanup was already underway just hours after this fast-moving storm.
We were thankful that, everyone's safe and didn't actually go through our house. Cars replaceable.
Just down the road at the Simsbury Airport, planes were flying without a pilot. Take a look at this wild video during the storm captured by the airport camera. You can see the planes and landing strip until all of a sudden, you can't.
I have gone storm chasing multiple times, and I have not seen anything like this. This is something you would expect to see on the plains of Kansas or Missouri, not here in central Connecticut.
This storm caused a lot of damage here at Simsbury Airport. One of the most significant things that we're seeing is an airplane that went flying through the air. You can see this patch of unmowed grass right here. That's where the airplane was before the storms, the rain, the wind came through. Well, the wind pushed it up over this hangar. You can see the holes in the hangar where the nose and the wings of that plane actually crashed into it. The winds were so powerful, Simsbury Airport is estimating that they were at about 70 knots, which is about 80 miles per hour. So some pretty strong winds whipping through, strong enough to cause a plane to go over a hangar, and then it slid down the other side. And now you can see cleanup is underway. That plane is being lifted and taken away. Cleanup was underway at the airport as well. And unfortunately for this plane, it was thrown hundreds of feet across the grass and caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. The airport tells us a total of 3 planes were damaged in the wind and the rain. The Simsbury Fire Department was on scene, and they told us thankfully no one was hurt. So a much different scene this evening. We do have a light drizzle out here in Simsbury, but thankfully none of those strong winds tonight. So it's going to be a much quieter night as it looks out here right now. In Simsbury, Alexa Farrell, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
You can't get over that plane. Wow, thanks, Alexa. All this weekend, Fox 61's tracking your weather impact forecast and conditions outside. Download the free Fox 61 News app on your smartphone so you're aware of the changing weather wherever you go.
But developing tonight, a driver is lucky to be safe after crashing their vehicle into a black bear. Police tell us it happened around 4:30 this afternoon along Spielman Highway in Burlington. DEEP officials say the bear was so badly hurt it had to be euthanized. The vehicle was not damaged and no one inside it was hurt. Just last month, there was a similar crash in Torrington where a bear was also killed.
Tonight, police believe they've had a break in a Reading murder case. Leah Chaparro of Bridgeport would be celebrating her 27th birthday in just a few days. Instead, though, prosecutors are beginning to build their case against who they believe killed her. Her body was found in February on the side of a wooded road. Since then, the case has remained unsolved. But tonight, police believe they've found their suspect. Last month, detectives tracked down Sergio Reyes Cordero in Clayton County, Georgia. He's accused of dumping her body. He was extradited back to Connecticut and faced a judge in Danbury today. He's being held on $500,000 bond.
A woman is dead tonight, a day after being pulled out of the Housatonic River. The 30-year-old was rescued by DEEP conservation officers and members of the Seymour Fire Department last night around 6:15 p.m. She was pulled from the river and taken to a hospital. And tonight, we're learning she has passed away. The medical examiner is still working to determine a cause. It's not clear how the woman ended up in the water in the first place. We have calls out to officials to get more details.
A man's been found guilty on several charges for threatening someone in Coventry. Police believe he was only seconds away from breaking into the victim's home. Devin McConnell, who used to live in Coventry, was convicted by a jury today. Last July, officials say McConnell left several threatening voicemails for someone threatening to hurt him. When he got to the person's home, police weren't far behind. They arrested McConnell before he could break into the home and harm the men inside. He'll be sentenced late next month.
An alert tonight from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. Mosquitoes carrying dangerous viruses have been detected all across the state. For the first time this summer, the pests are testing positive for EEE, about a dozen between Canterbury and Voluntown. So far, there have been no reports of human cases this year, but they still say everyone should take precautions when spending time outside. DEEP recommends spending less time outside at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. They also suggest wearing socks and long pants, especially if you're going to be outside for long periods, and make sure there's no standing water around your home, as we know that is a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. Well, fair and festival season is here in Connecticut, and tonight hundreds of people headed to North Branford's Potato and Corn Festival.
This weekend, folks will have to decide what's your favorite starch. Fox 61's Kaylee Collins hashes out what to expect.
Those on the hunt for an amazing time look no further than the North Branford Potato and Corn Festival.
What brings you both to the Corn and Potato Festival?
The food.
It's a great festival, great way to promote the town.
And it's growing and growing each year. It's bigger and bigger.
The festival is in its 22nd year with all local corn donated. It's expanded from humble beginnings.
It started as a one-day festival. They used to do it over here on the softball field.
It's drawn in massive crowds since then, bringing the community together despite some division over Team Potato versus Team Corn.
It just gives me joy to eat off the cob.
Well, potatoes you can have like a million different ways. Corn, it's different. I don't know. I do really like corn though, so I would say corn.
I'd say potatoes for the reason that you mentioned. There's just so many options.
I like the potato better than the corn.
I know.
And speaking of that food, it wasn't all about eating it. There was also some pretty serious competition surrounding it as well, which did include a pretty intense potato peeling competition.
The festival also features live music, games, rides, and a petting zoo. There's no gate fee to attend, and free shuttles bring guests to the grounds.
What we do make is the revenue off of the corn and potato booth and the parking, but it really just covers our overhead costs, and then our additional costs go to some of our local organizations.
Come on down.
So when it comes to the food, I think I'll stick to eating it rather than competing with it. But if you want to try your hand at those types of activities and check out everything else this festival has to offer, it does continue through the weekend. Hours of operation on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. In North Branford tonight, Kaylee Collins, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.